Welcome to the Short-Term Rental Playmaker Podcast, where we break down what it really takes to win in short-term rentals in today's market. From insider tips and emerging trends to real conversations with top playmakers in the space, this show gives you the tools, strategies, and mindset to build and scale a successful short-term rental business. Now, here's your host, Joe Roney.
Today's episode is brought to you by Savvy STR Agents, the short-term rental real estate experts helping investors find profitable vacation rental properties nationwide. If you're serious about scaling your STR portfolio, Savvy STR Agents should be your first call.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Short-Term Rental Playmaker Podcast. I am super honored to have one of the best property management systems owner, founder, PC here with me today to talk about Hospitable. How you doing?
Fantastic. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's exciting to have you on because, you know, when I first got into short-term rentals, it was all about, you know, what are the different platforms? What are the different, you know, property management systems? And there was a lot of them that were new. And yours has really grown over the past 4 years that I've been in this space. But how did you get started on deciding to create this PMS and how has it evolved?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I'm a lawyer by training, so obviously that has nothing to do with or relevance with the short-term rental industry. Like so many of us, we didn't go to short-term rental school somehow. We just dipped our fingers somewhere, and we're still in the industry. Something happened in my life. I was sharing a flat with somebody. That person left. It was just at the beginning of Airbnb really scaling in Europe, where I live in Brussels, in Belgium. And I've started hosting on Airbnb back and forth, 500 guests, more than 500 guests, with back and forth stays, back and forth nights. Maybe I just had that one night a month to basically have the flat to myself because I was a live-in host with just one private room and one couch. So really targeting groups of friends that were traveling between Paris and Amsterdam and offering a great experience for them. I just am very sensitive on not repeating myself. I don't have a lot of patience. It's maybe a good or bad trait from the job that I'm having. It's very, very good. But so the thing that it means is just, I hate to repeat myself. I hate to copy paste things over and over. And so back at that time, so that was basically 2014, 2015, basically there was not really an easy to use product that would just do that job of automating the messaging. I needed to copy paste from an Apple Note product and then basically replace the names. Obviously, that was very error prone, you can imagine.
Yes.
And it was not really automated, it just was optimized, but that was not quite great. And out of frustration, I said, okay, what can I do to do it for myself? It was very rudimentary, of course, in the beginning. I've started coding what was then called Smart BNB for a purpose for like so many other founders, which is just, I have a problem. It's becoming unbearable for my own tolerance to pain.
Yes.
And I need to find a solution for this. And maybe it may help out other people later, but that was not really the primary job. It came later that I could help other people to automate their businesses.
So it started with the messaging platform, which honestly is the reason why I started using Hospitable, because the messaging and the auto messages and the different things that you can do in there is so robust. I don't know if there's a better PMS out there when it comes to having a one-stop shop app for messaging on multiple platforms. I mean, that's the way it's founded.
I hope so. I think, and then since, in the past few years, we are evolving progressively to be a full property management software. I think there's really a lot of that is coming from the industry, and that's the paradigm is basically if you want to integrate with the booking platform, there are very few alternatives to this. And that means basically then having the authority over the calendar and being a lot deeper into the depth. But we already had those foundations automation into a better, simpler user experience, into also having what I would call a mass product, but basically a product that is for everybody, not just for property managers, but for people that just have that one property and need a way to automate, because the alternative is receiving the ding from Airbnb in the middle of a dinner with you or with your significant other, and that basically doesn't really work, and it's not very sustainable over time to have to type messages at the dinner table. So that really is what a lot of users are telling us the reasons why they use a product like Hospitable.
Yeah, and obviously it started that way, but now you're developing, it's becoming more robust. I know when you were first getting into reporting, right? Like you didn't have a lot of areas that you could have reports or, pull data, but now you're adding more and more of these features. I mean, I have people in my circle that are managing 30 or 40 properties with this. It used to be just 1 to 3, 1 to 5 properties, and I have full service management companies that are using this now.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think we have this reputation of being great for small users. So I don't know what small user is. I'm 6 feet. I'm 6'1". I'm tall. Please don't belittle people that have the one property. It's a perfectly valid thing. There is nothing to imply or assume anyway further. We would love to be your first property management software. Get you started. We believe that we're ideally positioned because it is a self-service product. Like you can create your account, connect to Airbnb, Booking.com, VRBO properties that you might have, and start automating your business right now. It's probably going to be taking less than 5 minutes. You can start to set up today and basically be done by the end of this podcast. So yes. I'm sorry if it's basically a bit more markety and salesy. I don't want to be here for that. But yeah, so that's the thing. But over time, we have developed significantly more features for property managers, which are now packaged on our Mogul product. So, for example, we work on owner statements, on owner payouts, which I believe was the industry first. Is an industry first. Basically, we are a merchant of record on the payments between owners and managers. So basically, we make sure your owners are going to pay on time and fast with owner statements that you've agreed upon that are coming directly from the data. And it's still not a feature that every property management software is actually nailing really well. So we want to be the first property management software. We also would love to be the last.
Yes.
If you are used to the ease of use of a product like Hospitable, compared with some alternative, then you can grow with us. We have users that have thousands of properties. We have case studies on them. There's no way to, we are not hiding from that, but just that are using Hospitable with the full cycles of relationship also with their owners that are running on that software.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's continuing to make improvements, continuing to make advancements. Obviously, one of the big hot spots that people are talking about now is AI messaging and putting in there. So tell me a little about what you guys have going on there and what's the future look like, for that.
Yeah, I think this is almost old news, Joe, if that's okay, because the reality is that So I think, yes, for example, Inbox AI has been a feature that we have with Mogul, and we have plans, obviously, continuously invest in that and basically bring it a bit more to the masses. I would say that's probably not the term that I want, but basically bring it to everyone that wants it. We also have Suggest with AI, which right now, for example, takes advantage of all the knowledge per conversation and just basically draft a message for you right now. That's available to every user. That's old news. Okay, those features have been running very well, I want to say, for the past 2 years already. Yeah. And this is no longer, I believe, the state of the art. What we've announced actually yesterday on the last town hall, where we talked to customers like you, is our MCP server. And I think that's also is an industry first. What we allow you to do is to connect your Claude, your ChatGPT, your Replit, every kind of AI client that you may have to connect with our Hospitable MCP server, and that lets the AI discover all the tools that are available and fetch your data directly. What I mean by what it allows is, for example, you can now directly retrieve information for the property, create a reservation by typing, with English as a programming language. You can do bulk edits directly by typing that. You can interconnect Hospitable with other products, with other services that are also using an MCP, or you can have an integration with an API. We are very big at Hospitable on developing your own vibe-coded applications. I think that's something that we love to do internally, and we're going to start releasing more and more applications like this on a customer-facing level as well. But that means an MCP allows you to, without having to be technical, without having to know about the API, let the agent discover what the API capabilities are and let it build whatever you would like out of it. It's a way to build smarter applications that just work for you. And so when you consider that, I think there is really a fundamental change that's going to happen in the industry. The PMS is an integration layer with the booking platform. We are integrators at heart. That really is the core of our job. We are adding features on top of it. So in the case of Hospitable, that, for example, automated messaging, that is an operation product. That's a way to pay your own team. Those are owner statements, accounting integration, payout to your owners, and so many more, like smart locks. Like I'm not going to give a list because it is really a very deep and very rich product. What's really going to be the challenge in the industry for the next 2 years is basically when you give access to your users about so much data, they will want to build stuff that are really optimized for themselves. A fantastic opportunity where users are going to be able to do exactly what they want without necessarily having that feature built in LPMS. And that means for us, the opportunity to go back to our roots and be really nailing that part down, whereas our customers can basically run their own application, including application within Hospitable itself that they own, that they develop, and they can basically create a very differentiated product for themselves. So it's a bit sci-fi now these days, and I'm not sure if everyone gets it, but I think that's what's been happening in so many other industries. And it's basically unstoppable. Like we've been at it for the past 2 to 3 months, and realize the world has changed. It's a bit sad, unfortunately, that the short-term rental industry is too much lagging behind and not really like being first on that kind of new technology.
Yep, I mean, I'm a prime example. I waited too long to get AI messaging in there. I still do a lot of stuff manual on my on my systems, and it's because I'm a Gen Xer, and that's we weren't born into this technology. We're still learning it. So I'm a little bit behind on this, and it's something that I got to embrace.
I think everyone is feeling a little bit behind, but that's fine. If you feel behind, it means that there are plenty of things that you can do already. There's compared to all of humanity, we're still very early to this, and there is a lot of development that's going to be happening anyway to make this more adaptable, more adoptable by everyone. Yeah. Perfect time.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's why I said before this call, and there's a lot of people out there that may have done this where they used a platform like OwnerRez and then just use Hospitable for the messaging, because that's the way I started. Our friend Bill Faith, that's how he kind of used it. And the biggest issue there, and the reason why we did that, was VRBO, right? VRBO just doesn't play well with others. The integration is, very outdated, very old. So with these new updates that VRBO's done, we can't use that anymore. So there's a lot of people that are making those decisions on where do I go? So what do you say to those people, and what does your VRBO integrations look like, and all that?
That's fantastic for me to be talking about VRBO. It's such a fantastic subject to be talking about, because I have a feeling that I need to involve legal almost immediately. The thing is, there is a lot that is going on on VRBO. I want to give them credit to the fact that they are hearing the feedback from the industry, and they have taken it upon themselves to remove a lot of the frictions that's happening on the API side.
Yes.
That is really the problems that are customer facing. Well, one of the things that we know now, because we are an official partner and onboarding users to our new VRBO official integration, is, for example, the friction that is being imposed by, for example, paying your VRBO fees by a separate credit card. For property managers, it's very difficult to be managing, because who is actually going to be liable for the payment of those fees is not always the manager, of course, and so you're going to have to provide a credit card at the account level for those kind of things. So there's a lot of things that we are thinking about to facilitate. VRBO is aware of this. They have been developing a solution for fundamentally being, again, the merchant of record. That's a technical term for saying that they will be the one processing the transaction from the guest and paying out the host directly, which is currently not available on the VRBO official integration, and that behavior is still not in place to this day.
Yep.
As I said, we are going to be we are today an official integration partner. This means we have been developing an integration recently on the most recent set of APIs. I don't know what your experience is with the alternative you've been mentioning before. I don't claim to be an expert on the competition, but one of the things that, for example, this API is capable of doing is that it gives all the intel, all the error reporting to the product, to the PMS directly, rather than having to send an email to the customer about errors that have been ongoing 24 hours later. And so that's just a simple thing, but for engineers, that means they have the feedback immediately, they can have the context, they can debug any kind of issue that may be happening on the integration side, whether that's VRBO or the PMS side, a lot faster. And I think there's been a lot of investment from VRBO into their RT and into the API. There is still a lot of investment that they have to do.
Yeah.
Now, you've been asking a question about basically who to pick. I cannot answer that question, and I know that setup between Honoraires and Hospitable have been prevalent for quite some time. I think what I would pay attention to is basically who are the companies that are innovating, who are the companies that are delivering value. When you buy a technological product, it can make your life absolutely miserable. It can also be packed with great surprises, as there are more developments that are still going on for the same price that you pay every month. So that I don't necessarily mean new features, but just simply improvement to the experience, quality of life improvements that with a polished product that basically is constantly being invested on. We've been leading the way on AI. We've been leading the way on today. I share that again with the MCP servers that we really just a day ago. I think that positions us to be the one that's providing the best bang for your buck as you keep investing into your tech software. There is another thing that I believe is really special around VRBO itself. That's the merchant of record thing, and that's really the elephant in the room for property managers and for us to like. Some people are absolutely rejecting the idea flat out, like, why would I let any third company doing that? Why would I process it with Stripe? I'm being paid by VRBO right now. Why would that need to change? And all those are valid concerns, as I shared, they are being addressed, and they will be addressed over time by VRBO into the next version of their API. What we are unique with in the industry is that we also have our own merchant of record infrastructure. And what it means is that the processing of the payments by the guest will actually be done by Hospitable itself as a company. That means we're specialists on the payment side. We do the underwriting to ensure there is all the risks are being taken into account when you do the payment processing. We take the payment processing cost, we eat it all the time. We take the chargeback defense. So that means we are the one liable whenever there is a chargeback. And this is a very important factor when this is a very high value transaction, several thousands of dollars. There is some fraud and there is a high cancellation rate. So all of that is really telling you that this is a very big problem for chargebacks in the travel industry. And we also are doing, for example, the tax compliance. I don't think there is a property management software out there that is actually calling every single tax jurisdiction in a state to say, hey, you collect 5 cents per night per guest. can we please pay you?
Yeah.
Maybe that sounds better when you spoken in French, because it's hilarious. but that's really what we're doing in the United States, and that's really like registering ourselves, Hospitable, as a payment facilitator, as a marketplace, to be paying taxes ourselves. And so there are hundreds of thousands of lodging taxes that we pay every month. Today is the beginning of April, so we're going to be paying again several hundreds of thousands on behalf of host. And that is to facilitate the workload of working with the property management software. It was an infrastructure that was built for direct bookings, but we're going to be able to leverage that as well for VRBO payment processing. So we are fixing a gap that doesn't exist if you just are an API connected host on VRBO with any other property management software. That's exclusive really to Hospitable, because it's a lot of liability that we're taking on our shoulders here. So I think that's a really differentiating factor on who to pick about the choice of the integration for VRBO in particular.
I think that's huge. I mean, and it's refreshing to hear, how much you're putting back into the company to continue to grow, to continue to learn and listen to what the hosts are saying, because you're implementing things that are making our lives better as hosts. And I think that's really what it comes down to. You want to have somebody on your side that's listening and helping you facilitate that stuff. And there's not many PMSs that are doing there. And everybody will say they're doing this and they'll have their own little spin on it. But I've seen the growth and development of this company, and it's been really great. So I do have a quick question for you. You started by owning or renting out a room. Do you have a short-term rental portfolio today, and are you continuing to invest as well, or are you just really focused on Hospitable?
Yeah, you know what? I really wish, but no, I don't have a portfolio myself. I was a host for a good 2 years and a half, and I've stopped hosting when basically I wanted to go full on smart BNB. Then I just really my own rhythm was working at night, working during the days. I was screaming in the middle of the night, why is there this bug? Why is it not working? And I've learned that it might not be the best experience for a guest. So I've stopped basically around that time to be entirely focused on Hospitable and not basically delaying what I would have done if I believe I really wanted to be a host. I'm no longer. I'm still not a host. The reality of it is that I'm a CEO. I live very comfortably, very much, of course. I'm still renting my flat. Okay, this one is not even mine. I basically, I just never had an opportunity to be investing into short-term rentals in Brussels, in Belgium. There are a lot of regulation that makes it a lot more complicated. I would love to partner with a local property management company. It just the reality of it is that it's a lot more about Hospitable day in, day out, and that's basically what my bet, entrepreneurial bet is on right now. There are plenty of hosts in the company, so about 20% of the team are hosts themselves. We recruit customers ourselves, and so that's always fantastic to see the impact and how they use the product themselves. They design the product themselves. There are multiple people in the sales, in marketing, in product that are hosts themselves, and so we still have very much that DNA in the company of being a host company first.
Perfect. I think that's great. I mean, obviously, bringing people in your business, because having hosts that work for you are seeing the same thing, the ins and outs, the stuff that we have challenges with on a daily basis. So I think that's huge. Really, really great product. I'm really, excited for the direction, and think it's time for me to, probably have a call myself to see what that transition looks like. Like I said, I've been kind of floating back and forth both ways. So I think it definitely, with everything that you're saying and that you have going on, I definitely think it's something that I'd be interested for myself in to explore on what that looks like.
I know whenever there's a sale, I should probably shut up and basically let the sale happen. But I was just thinking about something, and obviously I want to ensure you keep using Hospitable. One of the things that it means in terms of payment, this merchant of record infrastructure, is that we also decide, the take rate, basically, that it works only whenever you have a confirmed reservation. And that seemed, fine. Obviously, when you are working with an OTA, they only make their commission whenever there is a confirmed reservation. But it doesn't work like that when you're doing the payment processing. When you have a transaction, let's say a reservation for $10,000, you're going to always pay a payment processing fee, let's say around 3%. But when that guest cancels their reservation or chargebacks it, you are going to be eating that cost for the payment processing no matter what.
Yes.
And so that means every single transaction, every single reservation that you have is all a cost that you will eat no matter what. And that might be a very significant problem. In our case, because we approximate the experience of on the payment side at least, of what a booking platform looks like, you are never charged a payment processing fee for a canceled reservation. That's part of the model. We eat that cost. We're fine with it. But we are charging you only whenever you have an accepted reservation. And those are the small things that I believe are making life a lot easier, because when you realize that you are actually on the online payment industry now, the rules are really different compared to what you've been experiencing maybe for years with the booking platform.
Wow. I think that's just one more thing. So, for the hosts that are out there listening, what if they're new hosts or they're existing hosts and they want to get more information on potentially switching their PMS over to Hospitable, what's the best way to do it, and what's those steps look like?
So actually, we just released a new plan that's called Essentials, and that makes it a lot easier because we actually do not even charge you a subscription fee. It's no subscription, no booking fee, no limits on the number of property that you are having, and it's just a reframing what a PMS should be doing, which is to allow you to earn more money, especially on what we call ancillary income. Those are upsells, trip insurance, and any kind of revenue that you can generate by having a direct relationship with your guests, not just being dependent on a booking platform. So we've just lowered the price of a property management software to exactly a good even zero. So that's a great way to get started. I think people on your podcast have heard that there is no point in over-investing into tooling too early. And we realize exactly the same thing. The adoption of the property management software in the industry is abysmally low. Only 35% of hosts overall in the US, which is the most mature market, do not have, 65% do not have property management software. That's massive. And yes, the product is complicated. Well, so are CRMs, so are HR information system, so are ERPs, like all categories that are really complicated and really difficult. They all have 70, 80% adoption industry. And it's really an urgent problem because welcome to the AI world. Things are moving orders of magnitude faster, and that passes by a software connected host because the booking platforms do not want to be disintermediated. They don't want you to be using AI because that basically means you're going to have more direct bookings. So we're clear on the agenda here. We want you to have a software connected host account so that you can use the benefits of the upcoming, very current rather, AI revolution. So that's the best way to get started. You can go to hospitable.com. There are obviously different plans that are more adapted to professional hosts that already have been dipping their toes into technology, into integration, into more features like smart locks or owner statements. And that's basically a great way to get started. If you want, you can also always send me an email to pc@hospitable.com. I have to say I'm not receiving enough emails. And that's probably because I'm not saying the H right. Can you say the email again yourself, Joe?
pc@hospitable.com.
Yeah, you see, that's the H that I cannot quite do right. So I will never be able to do right. So pc@hospitable with the H at hospitable.com. You can send me the email. I would be very happy to refer you to the best person to be setting you up, whether that's going to be a sales demo because you already are a property manager and you're looking to switch and discover the features and whether that works for you, or if you just need to get started and you need to have an onboarding meeting that we can offer just as much for free. So this is a fantastic opportunity to be running a short-term rental company because you actually have the ability to have a lower entry level for property management software and then from there grow over time.
Nope. I think it's great, and I think it's a no-brainer, especially for anyone getting into it. I'll be honest, I recommend Hospitable to every new investor that I sell real estate to, because it just makes it so much easier for the messaging platform. But with everything else that you have going on, it's definitely robust for everyone. So super excited. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know it's late over there and on the other side of the pond from us. You're approaching what, 9:30, 10 o'clock at night on that side.
Yeah, that's fine. I have another meeting after that anyway. But thank you so much for having me. It's been fantastic. I apologize for the cough. You're catching me at a pretty bad time. But yeah, I hope that was not too much on your audience.
Nope, I think everything was great. So thank you guys for joining us on another episode of the Short-Term Rental Playmaker podcast. I'm going to put information on how to get a hold of PC and how to schedule that appointment in our show notes. So check it out, make some appointments, and get on this PMS. Till next time, we'll see you later.